为此法会济一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，速成无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue offer compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings? Please stand the wonderful Dharma will to teach us how to live suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death, and quickly realize no one burn.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahadi samyao samputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchetoye alahati samyo sambuddhasye.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 好的，Sam, we appreciate the Dharma request. 师父上人，各位同修，大家阿弥陀佛。Venerable Master, Dharma friends, welcome to our sutra lecture today. My name is Heng Shi. Today is the 13th of April here in the Gold Coast of Queensland. It's the 12th of April back in California. Welcome, glad you're here today. We're about to begin our Saturday evening in Berkeley, Sunday noon in Australia, Dharma lecture on the Flower Garland Sutra. And we're going to request the presence of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the Avatamsaka Assembly, and also the gods and the dragons, the Eightfold Pantheon of spiritual Dharma protectors to draw near. So here we go. Please join. Furthermore, We respectfully acknowledge the Kumbumeri people, the Ugambi language region, as the traditional custodians and basic storytellers of this land where our monastery is located. They who have been watching over the water, the wind, and the earth. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 这时候，我们恭敬地承认于冈贝语族的孔布马里人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向从来没有放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。Bells sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000界内，佛法扬万亿国中，共寻其法界和平，利益报贪我厚德。Right, here we go. Hey, glad you're with us today, everyone. We have a very fascinating part of the Avatamsaka Sutra today to talk about. And let me tell you what else is going to be happening today. We're going to be checking in with the Berkeley Monastery later to find out what's going on in California, the Bay Area in particular, ways that you can get involved in turning the Dharma wheel. And in the turning of the Dharma wheel, you can join in with groups who are with Dharma Realm Buddhist Association friends who are bringing Buddhism to the West in very creative ways. Also, today, people will notice that my background indicates that I am in Paramita House, here in the broadcast towers of Paramita House, humble as it is. Why? It's because here at Gold Coast Dharma Realm, we have a Liang Huang repentance, Emperor Liang's repentance going on in the Buddha Hall. So I'm here to allow folks to keep the bowing going and to keep the sutra, the Dharma wheel turning, the sutra wheel. So that's what we're about. And further, we're also going to check in with stories of good deeds going on in the world at Karuna News. I want people to be aware of this resource. So we'll be talking about that in a bit. Furthermore, I'll be answering questions that we're catching up. So today, if you have any questions, because our staff is doing double time with the repentance, we'll be catching up on questions that were asked last week. This Wunda section, the Q&A section, is got some good energy going now. So I hope to want to be sure that we don't leave questions out. I know there are people who are saying, I always ask, but nobody answers. So we're trying to catch up today. So that's what we'll be doing later on in the lecture. And let's take a look at our text today. We're in a really special part of the Avatamsaka. The teacher's name is Mega, and he is telling the pilgrim Sudana about his special method of practice. And I wanted to share that method with folks and point to places where you can find out more about the Huayan Zimu, the Avatamsaka alphabet, the wheel of syllables that Mega is teaching to Sudana. Okay. Here's our section today. Let's jump right into it. I'll just read the whole passage and then we'll come back and unpack it. Here we go. 弥切于是幻生本座，告善财言：善男子，我已获得妙音陀罗尼，能分别知三千大千世界中诸天语音、诸龙、夜叉、乾闼婆、阿修罗、迦楼罗、紧罗罗、摩诃罗切、人与非人，几诸梵天所有语言。如此三千大千世界，十方无数，乃至不可说不可说世界，悉亦如是。At that time, Megha returned and ascended his seat and said to Sudana, Good man, I have attained the wondrous sound dharani. I can know within the threefold universe the languages of gods, dragons, yakshas, gandharvas, asuras, garudas, kinnaras, mahoragas, humans and non-humans, up to and including the languages of Brahma gods. As it is within this threefold universe, so too throughout the 10 directions in countless worlds, up to and including untold numbers of them, it is the same way. So, because we go sequentially through our chapter, those of you who are listening in for the first time may not know where we got to, how we got to where we are. So let me just give you a second of that. The pilgrim Sudana was sent out by Manjushri Bodhisattva, the greatly wise, the Bodhisattva of great wisdom, on a pilgrimage to follow the instructions, to meet and follow the instructions of good teachers, Kalyana Mitra, Shanzhishi. And in the process of his journey, he meets 53 of them. And each one of them asks, every time Sudana meets one of those teachers, he says, great sage, he says, I want to know how to cultivate bodhisattva practices and how to walk the bodhisattva path all the way to its end. He says, can you teach me? So that's his question, 2 questions. He says, this is what I want to know, and I'm ready to learn. The teachers, each of them, ask him in return. They say, Shananza, son of good family, or good man, young man, have you made the Bodhi resolve? They say. Ru yi xianfa puti xinfa, they say. So they ask him a question back before that's what they want to know before they're willing to take him on as a student. And he says, yes, I have. I already did that. And that's what set me out on the path. Manjushri saw that I was someone who could hold the Dharma, Tsaifa Qi. I could contain these teachings. I'm a good student. I have a good memory and I'm sincere. So I have. Can you please teach me? At that point, one by one, the teachers say, ooh, this is a special individual. Happy to do so. Happy to teach you. I'm ready to teach you now. So then they kind of roll up their sleeves metaphorically and share with him what they learned. The collectively, the things they teach him are called Jietoman, gateways to liberation, ways that they got free by using the Dharma from suffering, from birth and death, from samsara, from affliction. This is what they did. And Sudana, it's not said, in so many words, but Sudana takes notes. He's got his recording function on his phone working. Sudana pays close attention, listens really carefully to what they tell him, and what happens next every time in the sequence of this instruction is after sharing, this is how the 53 encounters with the teachers are structured. So they share with him their method of getting free. Sometimes, not every time, but Sudana sometimes says, well, hey, that's amazing. When did you, great sage, Fa Putishin, Chu Fa Putishin, when did you make the Bodhi resolve first? And then they tell him how when they were in his position, what led them to meet the Dharma. And then, interestingly, this is so unexpected. Each one of the teachers, one by one, says, however, I only know this piece of the puzzle. If you want to learn more, you need to go south to the next teacher because she can really give you the details. And they send him on. They praise the next teacher in the south of where they are, which it indicates kind of the dawn of learning, the early days, the fresh spring of wisdom. So Sudana, at that point, we'll see, not this week, but next week, Sudana, when he's told that he has to leave this teacher, he cries at the separation. He really loves what he's learned, and he doesn't want to leave, but he does because he's a good student. He's following instructions. So he weeps. He circles the teacher countless times. It says to show respect. He bows to him and then says goodbye and goes on further on his journey. So that's how the structure of this particular chapter of the Flower Garland Sutra is built. And we are in the section of that process where Mega, the teacher, who has gotten down from his seat in the center of the town and bowed to the student. Unusual behavior for a highly exalted Dharma master. But that's one of the fascinating parts about this chapter is we see relationships between student and teacher develop each in their own way. It's very lively, very unexpected things happen when Sudana goes out, makes the Bodhi resolve, asks his questions, and then hears the Dharma. So we're right in the process. We're in the middle of Mega, the teacher, teaching his method, his particular method. Let's just to get the whole piece. It's only 2 paragraphs. Let's go back to last week's section. Mega shines lights from his face that shine throughout, that illuminate and light up the cosmos. And when that light shines out, spiritual beings from all over come to where Mega, the teacher, is. Dragons, spirits, gods from the Brahma heaven who are in samadhi and kind of like unmoved, they move. They see the light and they say, we're coming, we don't want to miss. And Mega, at that point, when everybody's arrived, with skillful means, let's see what the Chinese says. 一切大事既以方便为开示演说分别解释论字品庄严法门. The great master, Mega, with skillful means, so that everybody who's here can understand parts of it, or in their own way, all of it, reveals, proclaims, analyzes, and explains the Dharma method of adornment with the wheel of syllables. I would retranslate it to say creation with the wheel of syllables. Now, hearing the Dharma, everyone who gets this teaching makes the Buddha's Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, the Buddha's Bodhi resolve, and doesn't retreat. They all progress to the 8th stage of the path of the Bodhisattva. So powerful method that he's teaching. And my goodness, can you imagine the scene? If we were to sketch this or use watercolor, if you got your iPad out and use Procreate to design, to illustrate this, you would have this teacher sending light out, radiating light, surrounded by an audience of spiritual leaders in the world. From these, Apologies. Okay, we are back. So that was the fire alarm, and the fire alarm's a good thing. Oh, oh no. There we go. We're glad that the fire alarm happens, just not now, please. All right. Because we have a lot of people here bowing to repentance on a Sunday afternoon, the chance of the fire alarm going off is pretty good. And that's not a bad thing. We're glad that the alarm happens. When it does go off, we have to notify the fire brigade right away. If the alarm continues and nobody notifies them that it's just a false alarm, they will come, which is what we want them to do. And our local fire brigade is a volunteer brigade. So on a Sunday afternoon, men and women from all over our community have to jump in their cars and drive to the firehouse and fire up the engine and drive over to discover that it was just an alarm that got tripped. Then they charge us. Then we have to pay. So, because this is volunteer effort, and if it was a fire, we would be very, very grateful that they are on the job and skillful and ready to help. Today, I believe that was a false alarm. So, everybody still here? Let's see how many people retreated and said, "Oh no, I can't stand that sound." Oh my goodness. So, okay, 就说那个是 fire alarm 啊。如果真的烧火的话，我们一定会很感恩他们来保护我们，就因为这不是真正的 fire 的危险啊， 所以因为人今天多了哈，没有关系了。我们继续讲。Okay. So now, so what happened? So Mega sent out lights from his face. Everybody in the universe who was tuned in saw that, came to where he was, and what did he do next? This is the key word. He 用方便法开始演说分别解释论字法门，论字法门。So he explained, he revealed, proclaimed, and analyzed the Dharma method of the Lunzi. And everybody who heard it, everybody who was there, lucky enough to be there, fa da puti shin, anodoro samya samputi butui. Okay. They didn't become Buddhas. They're still on the path, but they became irreversible. So, okay, what do we learn today? Mega, at that point, turned around, walked back up onto the platform, Amitofo, and he continued to teach. He said to Sudana, Shananzi, he said, good man, he said, I have attained a dharani. It's called the Miao Yin Toloni. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. Miao Yin Toloni. What does the Miao Yin Toloni allow you to do? This dharani, you can know languages. You can hear what not humans and non-humans are saying. The languages of the gods, dragons, yakshas, gandharvas, asuras, garudas, kinnaras, maharagas, human, non-human. Who's that? That's the Tian Long Babu, the gods, the dragons, and the Eightfold Pantheon. You can know what they're all saying. Spiritual beings, non-humans. You have language skills. Oh, look at, you can hear all of the spiritual leaders who draw near the Dharma, who follow the Buddha, including what the gods are saying. In the billion worlds, the threefold universe, that's a billion worlds. Furthermore, he says, as it is in our world system of billion worlds, so too in all directions, I can know all their languages and never make mistakes. I am a incomparable interpreter, translator. I understand what they're saying without confusion, without messing up. Would you like that? You think, yeah, I sure would. Sometimes the person sitting right across from me at the breakfast table, 我听不懂. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know. I can't understand even my relatives, my partner, my spouse, my kids, my teenagers. I totally don't understand what my teenagers are saying most of the time. Right? So how much the more wonderful would it be to be able to understand all of these different beings? Because why? If you understand what they're saying, you are able to help them. You won't be afraid of them. You will find ways to get along without conflict because you really can hear and understand. Amazing. That would be completely amazing. Yeah. So he says, throughout the 10 directions, in all it is the same way. Okay. Now, how is that possible? We are so limited in our ability to know what people are saying. How is that possible? Well, it's the power of this dharani. Okay, can I show you what it is? Take a look here. The dharani, here we are. I want this, here it is. We saw it last week. Here is the wheel, the zilun, the 42 syllables. Can you see it? Let's move this out of the way here. There we go. Okay. It starts with A right here, Ra, Pa, Cha, Nang. And it goes around. There are 42. Some of these are 3-syllable, 3-word, 3-syllable sounds. Some are 2-syllable sounds. There's one 3-syllable. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I start here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 2-syllable words. The rest are 1-syllables. And the outer ring here shows you the Indian, the Sanskrit. The inner ring is the Chinese. However, the Chinese is monks and nuns who first met this method from India. They were not able to pronounce the Siddham or the Sanskrit the way the Indian originators heard it from the Buddha. So they used Hanzi to approximate to it's called transliteration. They in here in this what this character is at the top, that's om ah. That's ah. So Chinese has ah. So we use that character in all the ways it's pronounced in various Chinese dialects to approximate the Sanskrit ah. The second one though is ra, ra, right? Chinese gave it lo, a lo po chan zuo nang. So, all right. The point is what? Languages don't have exact correspondence for sounds. So, for example, Japanese, they heard the word baseball and they go besabaru, 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 baseball. That's how the syllables available in Japanese pronunciation approximates the English word, the new word in Japan called baseball, besabaru. The Chinese saw baseball and went bangqiu, bangqiu, club ball, bangqiu, bat ball. So every culture meets new aspects of culture and brings it into theirs, how they understand them. Now, with the wheel of syllables, the Chinese wanted to be as close as they could and get the spirit of it, so they assigned these characters to the Sanskrit sounds. It's the same with the Great Compassion Mantra. It's the same with the Shurangama Mantra. Every time Chinese Buddhists incorporated pieces of Indian Buddhist practice, they brought it in as close as they could to the sounds available to them. Does that mean it reduced its function when they did it? Not at all. I told the funny story of in 1983, Master Hua gave 5 monks the opportunity to travel around the world in a delegation, and he supported us. We got to Burma. It was called Burma back then. We climbed to Shwedagon, the Dajinta, the great gold pagoda, the second level up where the monks go. And we did 3 steps, 1 bow around the Dajinta. Wonderful experience. Sublime sacred space there. And then we gathered in the shade, the 5 of us, and recited the Great Compassion Mantra. As we were reciting, we heard this sound come up behind us, and this monk, another monk, was saying, no, do not recite Chinese, only Sanskrit. Great Maha Karuna Dharani requires Sanskrit. Chinese not effective. Who was it? He said, I am the poet, the Buddhist poet laureate of Lithuania, also here in Burma, but I have a message for you. Do not recite Chinese Tabejo. Maha Karuna Dharani in Sanskrit, only effective, he said. And this was a tall, sunburned European wearing a Burmese or a Thai precept sash. He was wearing the robes of a bhikkhu in the Thai, I couldn't tell if it was Thai or Burmese tradition. But his message for us was that the Great Compassion Mantra should be recited only in Sanskrit because the Chinese version didn't work. And we thanked him for his opinion and said, let's see, if your opinion is true, then all of Master Hua's teaching of great compassion of Guanyin Bodhisattva is defective and doesn't work. Is that the case? Well, it's ridiculous. We didn't accept his opinion. We thanked him for his opinion and said, are you aware that the Sanskrit Great Compassion Mantra is only an approximation of the Buddha's own sound, that then at some point later on, when they tried to capture it in a written system, they were losing the Buddha's original siddham. Do you think the Great Compassion Mantra was originally spoken in Sanskrit? Sorry, no, it came down from siddham, an older, what's called the Buddha's own language. So if the Chinese is ineffective, then when it's translated into Japanese, it must be 2 generations defective. And then when it was taken into Korean, it must again be, So here's the question, and people ask this all the time. They say, if you recite the letters incorrectly, does that mean they don't work? And the study of mantras must be reduced to just curiosity, kind of an academic interest. That can't be the case. If your principle is true, that there's only one original sound that is correct, what that means is Guanyin Bodhisattva misunderstands us if we recite in Chinese. Guanyin Bodhisattva won't respond if we recite it in a later language, right? So is that the case? Could that be true? Guanyin Pusa shun sheng jiu ku. Guanyin Bodhisattva waits for us to call on her name, and then she extends a hand to help us. That's Guanyin Bodhisattva's vows. And she is in the Universal Door chapter, the Pumanpin, the gateway to the universe, however it's translated, the Pumanpin. Guanyin Bodhisattva appears in 32 different bodies, not all of which are human, because living beings ask for help in so many different ways. So we looked at each other and kind of giggled as the Buddhist poet laureate of Lithuania gave us his opinion, because so clearly he was bound up in some idea of exclusivity, maybe because he had memorized the Sanskrit mantra, so he felt empowered to take it away from we who learned it in the Chinese version. So, okay, some people are like that. So anyway, Guanyin Pusa certainly is able to discern sincerity, even if the syllables are slightly different. Okay, so let's take that one off the table. The Chinese ah and the Sanskrit ah, close enough. The wheels go around like that, and Mega today, Niche Daren, says if we master this method, we have the foundation of language. We've got the vibration, the fundamental vibration that creates spoken communication, language all around the world will vibrate with us. We will have that fundamental rate of vibration. Now, I'm going to pluck a string. Here's a vibration rate. That's a C. That's a C major. Here's another higher octave of C. Right? Where are we? that's universally, that vibration rate has been given the name C, so that musicians can find it again and unite onto that vibration rate. Here is something that's vibrating at a different rate. It's a beautiful bell from Taiwan. Can I give you one more? Here we are. These vibrations go out into the universe, and from the point of view of physics, travel as a wave or as particles. That's how sound travels through the universe. So when humans come along and use these sounds in a skillful way and assign meaning to them, then, oh my goodness, the possibilities of communication are there, right? So Mega is saying to all those who are listening, it's Sudana has started us off by asking for Dharma, but he says to all those gathered, he says, I have attained the wondrous sound dharani. And later on, he calls it a zhou. We'll find out. So this is a toloni, a dharani. That's the name of mantra or dharani. We're kind of learning the word dharani as a carrier of sound. The power of this dharani, the wondrous sound dharani, allows him to get to the vibrating heart of all meaning and language. So what a powerful sound system. We know do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Those are names that we give to the intervals of sound. But imagine the dharani, which lets you interpret all the languages of gods up to the Brahma heaven and all of the various members of the Eightfold Pantheon, the Yakshas, Gandharvas, Asuras, Garudas, Kinnaras, Maharagas, humans and non-humans. Yes, you have an assured income stream. You can show up at any international conference and get hired as a translator. Piece of cake, right? And he says it's true in all directions. Last week, I mentioned how wonderful it would be to understand the language of the birds around here. I'm surrounded by all kinds of birds. And last week on YouTube, there's a cockatoo. He's not a sulfur crested, he's called an umbrella cockatoo, who has somebody somewhere in the States has befriended. And this cockatoo is unable to fly, but he is a talker. He's a talkative cockatoo. And on the YouTube videos, the cockatoo has so much to say that his owner, who sends out the videos, has a dog, a little fuzzy white dog. And the cockatoo often will go over and talk to the dog. The problem is the contents of the cockatoo's mind is he's kind of like a child who has just learned to speak. What is it, terrible twos or threes when kids get language? And the cockatoo the other day, one of the videos he sent out was he was excited about having gone out to the park. The owner took him out to the park. And that was what the cockatoo wanted to explain. And it was a 2.5 minute video. And the cockatoo said, I went to the park about 200 times. I went to the park. Did you know that park? We went out to the park and then we went to the park. Went to the park and it was really good. Went to the park. And the dog is like, enough already. Thank you. I know that. So you can see the dog is just enough. And I wonder if I was, so my conclusion was, if I understood what the birds around here are thinking, probably it would be something like, I'm hungry. I would like some food. Are you ready to feed me? I'm hungry. I want some food. What kind of food have you got for me? I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Did you get some food for me? Yeah, probably it was one-track minds. It may not be eloquent discourse about the state of the world. It's much more about the state of their stomachs. And for the umbrella cockatoo, I forgot his name. Is his name George? I forget what the cockatoo's name is. He wants us to know that he's excited about having gone to the park. So this same bird has learned profanity, and he can be, when he gets upset, which is often, you really don't want to listen to him because he's using four-letter words over and over. He's a very interesting bird. So we assume, oh, how wonderful to be able to learn the languages of the eightfold pantheon of ghosts. Yakshas are ghosts, right? Gandharvas are music spirits. Asuras are titans, and Garudas are these giant birds. Kinnaras are musical spirits. Maharagas are snakes. What do you suppose they're saying? Maybe once you learn what they're saying, maybe you think, time to turn that down a little bit. Who knows? Who knows? It could be philosophical discourse, wonderful, kind-hearted expressions of sympathy and solutions to problems. Let's hope so. So once you learn the language, it's not for sure that you want to hear it all day long. The cockatoo telling us that he's been to the park and how excited he is gets old really fast. So you shouldn't assume that hearing the language of the birds is a great deal. So this wondrous sound, dharani, how incredible it would be. Now, with this in mind, we humans, Buddhists, have created a liturgy around the Avatamsaka called the Huayan Zimu, the Avatamsaka alphabet. And it's it's widely practiced. Anyone who listens, I mentioned last week, Jin Fan Fashi in Taiwan, in Liugui at Fa Jie Sheng Si, explains, he has a practice of Jiangjing, explaining sutras every day. And when he's explaining the Avatamsaka, he finishes with a ceremony where he recites a section of the Avatamsaka alphabet, the Huayan Zimu, and also the Samantabhadra's practices and vows, Pushin Heng Enpin, and then does it very formally with incense praise and then transference at the end. So it's quite wonderful to hear Master Jin Fan reciting. And I don't have, Jin Yong Shi sent me a copy, but I want to be sure, before I play it, I need to listen and identify what is what. But I did find an example on YouTube of an elderly Dharma master, Guangci Fashi, who is 102 years old, and he's performing the Avatamsaka alphabet by himself. He is doing a solo recitation. And to be 102 years old and have this much chi is just wonderful. He's an elderly monk, and he's really got, you could think he might be 60, he might be half that age. So I wanted to play for everybody an example of, let's see here, we're going to optimize for video sharing. Here we go. And I'll switch over here to YouTube so you can hear Guangci Fashi, just a little bit of the Avatamsaka alphabet. So we can get a sample. Here is, I'm just cutting in halfway. So if people say this is disrespectful to the Fashi, I mean, no disrespect, but I do want people to hear just a little bit. To hear the whole thing, we would have to listen for this is 17 minutes long. So I'll just give you a sample of Guangci Fashi doing the Huayan Zimu. Here we go. Okay, putting that down. So this is Master Guangci, Lao Fa Shi, Elder Master Guangci, and he is reciting the Avatamsaka alphabet, and you can sense how powerful his recitation is, and chances are he's done that for most of his life as a monk, and it's a deeply deeply revered tradition. I think there are many people who, when they hear monks chanting like that, they think, this is what monks do. This is the Dharma. And rightfully so. Now, Master Shenhua, Shifu, our teacher, did not do these practices himself, but he encouraged us, those who have affinities with this method, to go ahead and practice it. So we have nuns. I was saying that Jinfan Shi does the version of the Huayan Zimu. I know Bhikshuni Heng Liang has done it. We have many of our nuns who do practice the Huayan Zimu. Here at Gold Coast Dharma Realm, the Avatamsaka alphabet is chanted. So here's what I wanted to share. To let everybody hear an example of Guangci Fa Shi chanting like that. The Avatamsaka Sutra, the Huayan Jing, is said to be not the longest of sutras in the Mahayana, but it's the biggest. Because why? It contains secret school practices. The Huayan Zimu, the alphabet that became the practice that you just heard, and Mega, Sudana's teacher, here proclaiming, analyzing, and explaining the Dharma method of adornment of the wheel of syllables, is considered to be a secret school, that is to say, esoteric school, part of one of our Mahayana 5 schools, known as the Mizong. secret, not because it's a secret don't tell. It's a secret because it's not, there is xianzong and there's mizong. Xianzong is to say open source, available to everyone. It's absolutely free of charge. It's public domain. It's no one owns it. It doesn't have to be taught individually, one to one, my mouth to your ears. Mizong teachings are different. They are transmitted one to one. There are conditions that are required for the study and cultivation of those, not like the Shenzong, the open and revealed teaching. So the Avatamsaka Sutra is said to be the biggest of sutras because it contains, as they say, 84,000 different ways of practice. And this is one of them. Here it is. This is a Mizong. Now, this is all we get from Mega in terms of details on this particular practice. He says, when I teach this, when I cultivate this method, I can understand languages from not human languages only, not only human languages, but languages from all kinds of beings. That's the fundamental vibration rate of these syllables. That's what they allow me to do. And how incredible in terms of physics, for example. Physics studies, among other things, vibration rates of light particles, of sound particles. At a certain point, light and sound become simply vibration. And what's the difference? Our eyes see them as sounds, our ears interpret them as, our eyes see sights, light. Our ears hear sound and silence, light and dark, sound and silence. They interchange at that level of fundamental building blocks of our experience, of reality in the world. This is where the sutra takes us. And without requiring a microphone, we don't have to have a device like this to pick up our frequencies and modulate it into electrical waves that our computers interpret. We don't need any external equipment. And with the power of this dharani, Lord Mega is saying to Sudana, you can learn this, and then you are a communicator supreme. You can understand the language of spiritual beings as well as humans, and gods as well. That's interesting, isn't it? Buddha Dharma makes us independent, 自在, 自由, in the world of knowledge and our senses. It transcends the limits of my eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind with a system. Transcending doesn't mean simply distorts it or throws it away. It means our ability to hear and see as we do normally is enhanced and made sensitive. But in the same way that this is different from this, a difference in octaves, once we learn the Dharma, this is our basic senses. This is our world transcending sense. They operate at the same time. And only because of cultivation do we get access to that higher realm. Mega is saying, yeah, you want to learn language? You want to be able to learn Spanish? You want to learn German? You want to learn Japanese? You want to learn Mandarin? You can. If you learn the wondrous sound dharani, you got access to every language spoken. That just appeals to me so much. That's why the Avatamsaka is said to be the biggest of sutras, because it teaches through prajna paramita. It teaches all knowledge and access to the Bodhisattva's methods of teaching and transforming living beings. Incredible. Based on compassion. Okay. Mega only gives us this. And the next thing that we're going to, next thing that comes is his limiter, his humility. This is what every one of these teachers does. He says, I only know this much, but you go on and there's a teacher who'll give you more. This is all we get. Here, later, teacher number 44. Teacher number 44, and of the 50-some, and his name is Shan Zhi Zhong Yi Tongzi. His name is Kumara, skillful knowledge of all the arts. Sanskrit name is Shila Pabijna. Shila Pabijna. Kumara Shila Pabijna. That's his name. Shan Zhi Zhong Yi Tongzi. The Kumara, like Sudana is called Kumara, Sudana. He's a wholesome young man. He is, this teacher number 44 is a Kumara. He skillfully knows all of the many arts. Okay, Sudana goes out to meet him, and what does he get? He gets detailed knowledge of the wheel of syllables, and so do we. So Mega teaches the intro to it. Sudana is getting it. When he goes out from Mega is number 5, right? So he goes to number 44, so 39 more teachers ahead, and he gets this kind of knowledge. Let me show you how it works. This is a commentary by Master Chengguan on today's passage. And let me make this bigger here. There we go. So, for example, let me just read this as best I can so that our translator doesn't have a heart attack as he tries to catch up here. So he says, let's start here. He says, first, let's work with the character ah. That's arapachana, right? Ah. This is the Bodhi resolve. When we investigate the first syllable, we get the Bodhi resolve. If we contemplate this syllable and we xiangying, we respond with it, we become identical with Vairochana's, the substance of Vairochana Buddha's Dharma body. When we put that syllable into the circle of 42, it's like the light released from the tail of a peacock. The wheels on the tail of it's like peacock tail wheel light. 围绕行者而住其中. It circles around the cultivator and it locates itself in the center of that person. And this is the same as abiding in the place of the Buddha. Okay? Right? 就说入此处阿上智，即是菩提之心。若观此智而与相应，那就同毗卢遮那法身之体。为此阿字之论，犹如孔雀尾，论光明，围绕心者而住其中，即是住于佛位。So you can see the difference between Mega's kind of showing and this is the telling of it through a commentary. Okay, and then it goes on to describe the next character, Arapachana, right? It says it represents the Bodhi mind. If you contemplate the syllable and resonate with it, you get the very essence of the Dharma body of Vairochana. This wheel, this ah on the wheel of syllables is like the radiant tail feathers of a peacock. encircling and illuminating the practitioner who abides within it, and you are in the Buddha state. Okay, so just to say, people have who have studied this over the years have been really fascinated by the potential of this 42 syllable wheel and what it might open for someone who can really unlock it like Sudana and put it into practice, right? So what I'm suggesting is this is, I keep bringing up Shifu's picture. We're not ready for that yet. This is an actual practice that people can do. Once you take the Avatamsaka seriously. Now, I know there are people who are saying, well, can you teach it, Fasher? Fasher, can you teach it to me? Sorry. I wasn't permitted by Shifu to pass this on. To say, what I can definitely do is say that anybody who feels a connection to the Avatamsaka, there are no shortcuts to learning this kind of practice. What Sudana is getting from Mega is already university or postdoc level. If we are fascinated by this and think, wow, I would love to learn this kind of thing myself, then enroll in the elementary level and progress through middle school, high school, college, postdoc, and doctorate, right? Go on to advanced degrees. Sudana is an elite candidate. Look at, this is teacher number 5, and look at what he had to do, the effort he had to put in to get to this stage. You can't jump the line, so to speak. You can't, money won't get you there. Influence won't get you there. You have to take every step along the way. And the same way that if you want to be a doctor and help people cure their diseases and get past suffering and pain, then to be trusted as a doctor, you have to be qualified. You have to learn, take every step along the way. You can't skip steps. You're more likely to harm people than to help them. So same with the Dharma. But I do want to encourage people who are interested in this, as I am, fascinated by it, to learn more, learn as much as you can about sound and about mantras and about dharanis. To actually learn this method, the method that Sudana used is Jia Ding Hui, Shila Samadhi Prajna, paying attention to his character first, then focusing with practice, and then the insight and the wisdom of this particular method comes alive. Okay. Hey, interesting, huh? I'm fascinated by this. Here is, somebody did a chart of the syllables. Here are the 42 syllables. A, ra, pa, cha, na. You can see some of them are doubles, some of them are triple. One is a 3 sounds. Here's the 3 sound. So do some homework. Go take a look. See what you can learn. Right? Isn't this fascinating? Buddha Dharma is truly, truly the teaching of gods and humans, as well as sages. Indeed. All right. There is Guangsi Lao Fa Shi, 102 years old. I wanted to, here we go, take a look at what we have here. This is good news at karunanews.org. Here it is. Pop that into the chat for people who want. Let's see. Here we go. People who would like some cheerful news, go to the chat. It's karunanews.org. This is the premier site online for good news. Here are the headlines. Let's take a look here. Growing and sharing seeds can boost mental health. Indeed. What else? Equine therapy. Horses help Michigan youth cope with mental health crises. Horses as therapists, incredible experiences that people have with the curative, the therapeutic power of horses. What else have we got here? How bridge building transformed a South Philly immigrant market. He wrote a master's thesis with 500,000 blinks and rewired his world. Someone who operated a computer by blinking his eyes, and he wrote an MA thesis that way. Volunteer bar ferries incentivize safety in the state with the worst drunk driving rates. Fascinating story. Bar ferries going around to help people overcome their addiction to alcohol. For 90 days, a man became homeless on purpose to see how his unhoused neighbors lived. Then he raised $20,000 to help them. Good news stories, finest. Myanmar ceasefire facilitates earthquake relief efforts. There's also world news here as well. But Karuna News is focused on good news stories, stories that come from all over the world and just light our hearts. Landmark ruling on uncontacted indigenous people. Paris residents vote to make 500 more streets pedestrian only, no cars. The city of Paris, the city of light, everyone's favorite city, is phasing out automobiles in the civic center. 10,000 parking spots are being eliminated. The total of green lungs will be 700, 1/10 of the streets. The city's 2 million residents will be consulted on which ones become pedestrian areas. And Paris is behind some of the other European capitals in terms of green infrastructure. Only 26% of Paris has become green. Other European capitals average 41%. Cities as if people mattered more than cars. How wonderful is that? Alrighty, just to share this with folks. One more bit of news. We want to look at Buddha Root Farm. Here it is. Guanyin recitation session this year, 2025, June 21st to June 27th. Come join us in the Oregon woods. And here is how you get there. You apply here, clicking on this application. All righty. Let's go out to take a look at some of our questions here. Let's see here. What's the rationale behind reciting each word so slowly? Okay. 为什么那个华严字母要念得那么慢? Don't know. The liturgy, we go too fast. The speed is up to you, really. And it's that system was created hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So back then, maybe people didn't have technology and they weren't in such a hurry. The vibration of the sounds goes deep in rebuilding and rebalancing our inner harmony, our inner health. I think maybe we should slow other things down as well, not speed up the Avatamsaka alphabet. Slow down and appreciate it. The Avatamsaka Sutra teaches the great bodhisattvas possess great strength and great wisdom. They subdue sentient beings. For beginners who don't have the great strength and wisdom described in the sutra, when faced with various matters of daily life, one may feel physically and mentally exhausted. Over time, this can give rise to affliction. In circumstances like that, how do you maintain unwavering resolve and avoid feelings of weariness or discouragement? Here is the Chinese version of that question. Let's see，《华严经》上讲的诸大菩萨都有大力和大智慧，可以调伏众生，所以初心发心行菩萨道。但是没有经文上的菩萨那种大智慧大力，面对生活中种种的遇到的各种事情，有些时候在短短时间内发生，就说同时发生，让感觉身上疲倦。OK，当然了，我们不是华严经的菩萨，我们羡慕华严经的菩萨。We aren't Avatamsaka Bodhisattvas, but we admire Avatamsaka Bodhisattvas. We want to become, over time, like Avatamsaka Bodhisattvas. Your question is the same question of when you're sick. If you, let's say you have an appendix problem. What is it? Mang Chong, I don't know the Chinese for appendix. Suppose you have an appendix problem and you have to have emergency surgery so your appendix doesn't burst. Do you say to the doctor, who's going to do surgery on your stomach, I really want to be just like you, but every time I think of that, I get really tired. I'm discouraged. I don't want to believe in medicine anymore because I can't be like you. Of course not. How long did doctors study to give them the skill to safely operate on your appendix? How long do bodhisattvas have to cultivate in order to be able to really teach and transform living beings? So if we admire them, we want to be like them, start today, start now. Don't wait to set foot on the bodhisattva path. What's the best way to do it? Watch your mind. When fighting thoughts arise, say, I yield, I don't fight. When greedy thoughts arise, you know it's wrong, you say, I want to generously give to others instead of taking it all for myself. When seeking thoughts arise, thoughts of being discontent all the time, you say, I'm grateful and content with what I have. It's what I've earned, the things that come to me. I don't need more. I'm not busy looking out past the things I have to seek for more, right? Contentment instead of seeking. When selfish thoughts arise, you go, I know I'm not the only person on the planet. I want to live in a way that is unselfish. When thoughts of benefiting yourself only benefiting yourself arise, you say, I want to share. I have so much, it's so good, let me share with others. When dishonest thoughts arise, and they do, you know they do, thoughts of cheating, thoughts of being dishonest, lying, you say, I cannot tell a lie. It's just too much trouble. I get in trouble when I lie. I'm going to tell the truth, even if it's temporarily uncomfortable. Okay, there you go. Start there. Those are the first steps on the Bodhisattva path. Bodhisattvas 不争不贪不求不自私不自利不达妄语，没有那些念头，化那些念头，感化那些念头，代替那些念头，让而不争，不使而不贪，知足而不求，大公无私而不自私，分享而不自利，讲真话而不达妄语。Okay, that's where we start, and then bit by bit, you become really strong that way. But start somewhere. Start today. Don't wait. How do we practice bodhisattva practice? In the practice giving paramita, when I give food to the homeless to help their hunger, they want money instead and ask for more money because the money I gave them is not enough. There's someone else who said next morning they stopped by the homeless residence, there were needles laid on the ground. When I don't give them, I feel sorry for them. I can only temporarily help them pass their hunger. Sometimes I don't know how they use the money. How do we practice compassion and wisdom according to the right Dharma? Okay, I'll let the Chinese speakers, can you read this? You want to read it yourself? We'll save time. Good question. I experienced that myself in Berkeley. We had a bakery near the monastery that would give us their day-old bread. We come out in the morning and find these giant black plastic bags full of day-old bread. Lots of bread. And I would think, oh, good, I'm walking to school today, so I'll pack 4 or 5 loaves and hand them out to people on the way. And I handed it out to a homeless person who was sitting there. And the person took the bread and said, I don't want this crap, threw it away. And it's like, wow, that's really rude. And I was so shocked by this person who refused my gift of food they were sitting on. And I realized that what this person needed, if I'm going to be giving, I want to 对机斗教因病下药. I want to give what's needed. What the person wanted most of all was a kind word, was attention, was not overlooking. Most people walk by homeless people and ignore them or treat them like they're a germ. You want to wash them away as soon as you can. So instead, when I saw somebody, instead of carrying bread and trying to give it away when it wasn't wanted, I said, spare change, the person said. I said, actually, I don't have any money, but I can give you a blessing. What's your name? The person was like, really? Oh, my name is Tom. Oh, hey, Tom, I hope things are good. I hope your heart is happy. I see you every time I come by here, and I'll say hello every time. Buddha's bless you. And the person put his palms together and said, thank you so much. So yeah, when you see homeless people, don't give money. Money, if you have a habit, of course the money is going to go to the habit. Give the person some time. Give them some kindness, a smile, wish them well. That's really needed. Last Sunday, how do we use the Shurangama mantra for healing illness? I don't know. Shifu didn't tell us about the Shurangama mantra in illness. He told us the great compassion mantra for illness, Da Bei Zhou, the great compassion dharani for illness. Because why? Guanyin Pusa's energy is behind it. Did I say, let's see, last Saturday. Okay. So I would recommend switching a mantra if you want to heal illness, but understand that it's not so simple. If you recite the great compassion mantra and say, I'm going to heal your illness, you have to have some pretty pure karma and some real knowledge of cause and effect before you can actually heal illness. I don't recite the great compassion mantra hoping to heal illness. I recite the great compassion mantra hoping to reduce my own ignorance and darkness in my mind. Then one of the best ways to heal illness is to listen clearly to where people are. It's a big step between learning the mantra and actually healing. Sometimes if you recite a mantra thinking you're going to heal, you actually are going to be far away from where the illness really is. So I'm not going to encourage you to learn a mantra to heal illness. That's a big, big, big step. Again, go step by step. Work with your own fighting thoughts, greedy thoughts, selfish thoughts, seeking thoughts, dishonest thoughts. Transform those so your mind is clean. Shifu said, if you never tell a lie, every single word you recite is a mantra and has power to help people. But if I'm going to cure your illness, your mind is seeking. You want power. You want, so be careful with using mantras without any real knowledge of what's going on. All right? Don't use the Shurangama for illness. Deepest respect. Every time I recite the Great Compassion Mantra, I lose my temper in recent months. I hesitate to recite it. When I recite the Shurangama, it doesn't happen. What could be the reason for this? I humbly request compassionate guidance. Okay, again, I'll show people the Chinese if you want to read it. People and mantras is a relationship that really needs some clarification. If the goal is to have the mantra and be powerful, then I think we're what do we say? I think we need to come back to the roots and come back from the branch tips to the root of the mind. Okay. There's a Chinese phrase that expresses that, but I can't think of it at the moment. Huan ban zu mo, right? Huan ban zu mo. Is that the way it was? The goal here is not to have a powerful mantra. The goal is to have a compassionate mind, have a kind heart, to have a mind free from coverings, free from greed, anger, and delusion, and pride and doubt. So in this case, the mantra, no matter whether it's not a problem of the Sharangama or the Great Compassion, the problem is your mind. Any mantra you recite here is not going to be effective because you're doing it with a mind that is full of desire. Anger is the second step. Desire is the first step that we want to pay attention to. If we can learn to be content instead of desirous of things, then anger won't arise because our mind is full of goodness and light and connection. But if we are, to have anger is an affliction. If we recite any mantra on top of the affliction, then how can it be effective, right? So come back, work with that first step, which is checking the source of desire. Desire, frustrated, will lead to anger. Problem is, desire is just like a fire. It's never satisfied. So then this is the place to look. Let the mantra go for a while. And if we can decide what it is that is causing me so much desire, then any mantra we recite will bring results. And we won't get angry because of a mantra. The anger and the mantra are independent, separate from each other. So if you have anger in your mind, you can recite Guanyin's name, Amitabha's name, and it'll get you angry because you're seeking results, right? So yeah, that's Wang. There you go. Wang ban zu mo. Wang ban zu mo. That's right. So we want the bun in this case, overlooking the root and seeking out in the branch tips. The root here is what's going on in the mind. Pay attention there, and you'll get really good results, no matter what mantra you recite. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, one more. Let's do one more. Then people are going to say, Fasher, are you still? Okay, here. Okay, I'll go quickly. We're going to, in a few minutes, we're going to invite Dharma Master Jin Chuan to talk about the events at Berkeley, but I'm going to spend just another minute. I promised I was going to finish more of these questions. Okay, here we go. I often get angry due to interpersonal relationships. I treat others with kindness. I hope they treat me that way in return. When I get betrayal back, I get angry. How can I change my mindset to avoid anger? 会讲中文的人，你们自己读这个中文哈。So I think this is what you're describing seems to me to be a perfectly natural response to betrayal. You'd have to be quite the saint to not feel angry when people lie to you or cheat you. Again, the same principle is what's different. Let's see here. Let me say it simply. In every case, we're working with the mind, and it's the products, the fruits of the mind, such as emotion. Emotion, such as anger, arises from thoughts connected often to physical sensations. So if you think of the skandhas, we have the body, we have feelings and sensations, then we have thoughts, then we have what are called formations, and then consciousness. This is how the Buddha described our psychology and our physiology, body and mind here. So if someone cheats on you, lies to you, and disappoints you, if you were made of wood, you wouldn't have any reaction, but people are not. We're made of all these elements. And the feelings you're describing are natural. I think the question here is how do we conduct our relationships to avoid these disappointments? One way is to understand that every relationship that we have in this life is rarely is it the first time we've met these people. As the Buddha described, we live lifetime after lifetime. In the Avatamsaka, it says if all of the deeds that we have done in all our lifetimes took shape and form, it would fill up space. There'd be no room for anyone else, one person's history. So one thing that I do when I've had negative relationships with people is I set aside time, and in the morning or at night, go in front of Medicine Buddha, Yao Shifu, light a stick of incense, and then bow on behalf of the person with whom I have negative affinities, somebody cheating on me. Clearly, I'm hurt by that, and I know that getting angry at them is not skillful, so I let the anger fuel my cultivation in front of Medicine Buddha, and I repent, and I say, if I have hurt you in the past, so that now you come around and hurt me in this lifetime, I apologize. I don't want to do this anymore, and I would like to return to purity in this relationship. You don't tell the person you're doing this, bowing on their behalf, and to repent of any harm that you may have done. You don't know if you've done harm, but the fact that somebody can cheat on you in this lifetime, that's a pretty good sign that if you believe in cause and effect, it didn't happen out of empty space. This may be a result of something you have done to them in the past. You can work on that principle. Bow and do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, however much time you have. Do it for 30 days. And the next time you see that person, there may be a clear space where you can really see them as they are, and possibly you've gotten past that tie from past lives. So that's what I do, and I've had remarkable results with kind of somehow repenting in front of Medicine Buddha erases those negative conditions. And when you see the person again, it's like clean slate. How can you let go of your mobile phone? There you go. But then when it rings, let's see. I got to take this call, right? Not so easy, huh? We get completely addicted to the phone. It's a attention machine in our pocket. Nobody expected that smartphones would do what they have done to change human behavior the way they have. So set yourself a schedule. You could do Sundays as a technology-free day. Replace technology with connections with your family. Go to a museum, go to a library, take a walk, go on a picnic. Set your phone down in a drawer in your home. Or if a day is too much, Do it for a meal. Make your dinner table technology-free zones. Start small, and you will feel better. One thing inside iPhones, I know there's a way to track your hours of use with the phone, and you'll be amazed at how many, sometimes 200 hours a week you've been having you pick the phone up. Reduce that. Aim to cut it back to 150 hours. You know, just check in, find out the hard and fast details of how often you used your phone. You'll be amazed. And if you can, some people are really strong, they can get a flip phone. So the phone is only used for making phone calls, no texts, right? No checking email, because there isn't any on the flip phone. Try it. You'll be amazed at how liberated you can become. Okay, one more, last one. We're going long today. Do all beings in the six realms pass through King Yama after death? Do they all have to wait 49 days for judgment? Does this include animals who must also wait 49 days? Is it true that all carnivorous animals and humans, when starving to the extreme, will eat vegetables? I only fed stray cats greens. They actually ate them. I was shocked that cats would eat a vegetarian diet. So, multiple questions here. The Chinese readers can read it. It's not that you have to wait 49 days for judgment. It's that within 49 days, we get assigned to our next womb, our next rebirth. Sometimes it happens immediately, according to those who know. I'm only passing on things that I have heard. I don't see these things myself. But every one of us in a human body has gone through this process. How old are you? I'm 75. 75 years ago, I went through this process. And this is how King Yama's court is designed, as they say, to sort out good and bad karma that we do. We arrive in a body from one of two reasons. Mostly it's the wind of karma blows us through King Yama's court, and at some point within 49 days, before 49 days are up, we will be reassigned. Sometimes it happens instantly. We go right on to the next rebirth. Other times we have to negotiate with King Yama to get the right clarity on good karma, bad karma. The other way that people come into a form is, they say, through vows. So the wind of karma blows us into a body, or the vows that we make from past lives. Bodhisattvas can choose. That's what real freedom is. Lai, Ming, Chu. Lai, you're clear about where you came from and you understand where you're going. But that's real control. That is Zai, and that's a goal of Bodhisattva, is to be able to choose where they want to be reborn based on who they have decided to take across. Now, in terms of animals eating vegetarian, our late departed friend David Rounds and Sue had two cats. One was, the cats were raised together. They could feed one cat vegetarian food. The other cat refused to eat it. They came from the same litter. So even animals have individual karma. I have cockatoos out here. 30 birds will arrive. One of them is sick with beak and feather disease, a fatal disease. The other birds are healthy. Why is that? Individual karma. So be careful with what we do with our bodies, mouths, and minds, because every act matters. As they say, nothing, no good deed that we do vanishes without increasing our bank account of goodness. No evil deed that we do fails to increase our negative bank account. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to now shift over and invite Dharma Master Jin Chuan to tell us about the new events going on at the Berkeley Monastery and what is in store for folks cultivating in California. Jin Chuan Shi, ni zai ma?
Great. Could you reload the screen?
Okay,
I've been updating it.
here we go.
Okay, so first we have the Buddha's birthday celebration at Berkeley Buddhist Monastery on May 11th. on Sunday. And this will be in person, starting at 9 a.m., going to 1 p.m. And we'll be doing this. Reverend Heng Sure will actually have come back to America, so we'll have him in person to be able to share with us and lead the ceremonies with everybody. So if you want to start the new kind of or the middle of the year with purifying the heart and mind, bathing the Buddha, please join us. So that's coming up. If you go down, we have an upcoming event with Ajahn Kovilo for DRBU. It's kind of a funny name, Monking Around. But that's going to be coming up in 2 weeks, April 29th. And it's going to be online, 6 to 7 as a Q&A. So if you're curious about what DRBU is like for a Theravada monk, Ajahn Kovilo can share with you. Really a pioneer in many ways for their community, because usually Theravada monks don't go to college. And so he got special permission to do so. And then we have also Rav Shur starting the lectures in person in Berkeley Monastery starting May 10th. So those who are watching online who are in Berkeley or the Bay Area, please come. It'll be wonderful to be able to see everyone coming just in 1 month, coming up in just 1 month. And then the next few things are all retreats. So we have the Suna Center retreat, June 7th to 14th. This is going to be with Doug Powers and Bogdan Stazu. I can't say his name.
Stashevsky. Try again.
Shev.
Ski.
Bogdan
Stashevsky. There you go.
And it's going to be on quantum physics and Buddhism. I promise you, it will be difficult to understand, but interesting. Bogdan's really a genius when it comes to science and mathematics, and he somehow is able to relate it to, Yogacara philosophy. So that's something for those who are really curious. Following that, we have Buddha Root Farm in the forest, and there's actually 3 different things you can plug into here. One is the Guanin session, starting on June 21st to 27th, followed by a Chan session, where I'm also inviting Marty to come join in. And so we'll have Reverend Sher, Marty, and Doug. And then for those who want to join some service, there's work week before, June 15th to the 21st. So you want to spend 2.5 weeks in the Oregon forest, you have an opportunity to do so. It's really beautiful. You can see in the picture, we recite through the trees in single file. So, and then if you miss that and you still want to join another Guanin session, we have another Guanin at CDTB, and Doug Powers usually leads this. And it's really popular because people really have a deep transformation being at the city and practicing all together. So, yeah, those are the main things.
Okay.
There's a couple other things happening. The Baigiri monks will be starting up if you go down this May. And we'll also be having all these talks now, all these classes have been ongoing. So all our regular programs are ongoing. But Baigiri will start in May. I know Ajahn Kachana is actually going to be coming to share, our friend from UC Berkeley before as a physicist, won't leave home in a Baigiri. And then I think he's in Chithurst now. He's going to be coming back to the United States for a little bit. So he'll be sharing this Tuesday.
Okay.
So yeah, that's our current
Thank you so much.
program.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, I should mention while we're here that Gold Coast Dharma Realm, gcdr.org.au, is in the middle of, not in the middle, we just begun a Emperor Liang repentance, and it's available online for those. Here it is right here. Folks can listen in and bow at home if you like. Here's the QR code if you'd like to snap a photo of that. Let's see, where's the Zoom? Is there a Zoom link? I don't see a Zoom link. So hit the QR code and that will take you there. All right, that's going to be, we just started this, so it'll be all this week. At 7 o'clock Australia time, I lecture on topics in the Mahayana. So, alrighty. Okay, thank you, Jin Chuan Shi, Amitofo. Let's chant Medicine Buddha's mantra today, dedicating merit. Ready? Go. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaisajya Guru Vajurya Prabharajaya Tagataya Arahate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tadyata Om Vaisaji Vaisaji Vaisajya Samukate Swaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vaisajya Guru Vajurya Prabharajaya Tadyataya Arahate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tadyata Om Vaisaji Vaisaji Vaisajya Samukate Swaha. One more time. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaisajya Guru Vajurya Prabharajaya Tathāgataya Arahate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tadyata Om Vaisaji Vaisaji Vaisajya Samukate Swaha. So we'll conclude today by bowing to Guanyin Bodhisattva. Here she is. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. That's going to do it for us for today. We'll see you all next week, everyone. Amitofo. Bye now. Thanks for joining.
Recording stopped.